Good morning. I'm Crystal with Whole New Perspective. Welcome to my channel. I am making lots of mixes today, and I'm making this for my hashtag Homemade Mixes 2023 challenge. So join me in this challenge. If you would like to make any mixes, all you need to do is enter hashtag Homemade Mixes 2023, and please tag me so that I know that you have participated in this challenge. Now, I'm making the jerk seasoning blend today. This requires a lot of different seasonings, or I make it with a lot of different seasonings. And so usually I like to double this recipe simply because I already have down a lot of seasonings, but I've been making a lot of mixes and I had these seasonings down anyway. So let's get started with this blend, shall we? The first thing that I'm going to put in here is 1 tablespoon of garlic. This is garlic powder, so 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. This garlic powder is a little hard. That's 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. I'm going to put 1 to 3 teaspoons of cayenne pepper. Now that really just depends on how hot you want it. So let me grab my cayenne pepper. I had it out for another recipe and I put it back. So this cayenne pepper is pretty hot, and so I'm really just going to do 1.5 teaspoons. I'm just using my teaspoon. That'll make it pretty hot. So I'm using the cayenne. Then I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of onion powder. This is my onion powder. So I'll use 2 teaspoons of onion powder. And again, if you want to double this recipe while you have it down, you can. I don't stick strictly to the measurements. I may add more or less. I like onions, so I added a little more onions to it. Then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of this dry thyme. Again, we're going back to thyme and parsley, some things that I'm growing in my garden, and I'm hoping to get quite a bit because I do use it often in so many of my blends and mixes. 2 teaspoons of dried parsley. 2 teaspoons of that. 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm probably just going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. I do add salt to this mix. I usually don't, but I will. So I'll just add 1 teaspoon. A teaspoon of paprika. This is my paprika. 1 teaspoon. I usually add just a pretty generous amount. I'm generous with all of this. A 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Now with the cayenne, you can add a lot more of that if you like for your jerk seasoning to be spicy. Go ahead and add you a little more of that. And you can always add minced onions to your mix as well as the actual onion powder. I just add the onion powder. Then I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of dried crushed red pepper flakes. So you know this is going to already be a bit spicy. Gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. my nutmeg. Then I'm gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. The recipe that I use, it does not call for ginger, but I'm gonna add a little bit of ginger, about a 4 teaspoon of ginger. Now this recipe calls for allspice. I don't have any, or I cannot find my allspice. I know I have to have some somewhere. This is allspice. Whole allspice. I'm just going to grind this up in my grinder, and then I'll add this into this mix, and that's it. Once I do that, I'll just shake it. And this is my jerk seasoned mix. Now, to use this mix, I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of oil, any type of oil that you like to use, 3 tablespoons of this mix. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos. Now you can use soy sauce if you'd like, but I'm going to use coconut aminos. And then I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. That's it. I'm going to mix that up. I'm going to put my meat in that, my chicken in that, and then I'm going to let it marinate overnight. When I get ready to do that, I think I'll bring you back with me. I wanted to come back with you and just show you how I'm going to make my jerk chicken. And this is simply how I do it. Very simple. I usually just make my mix in the bag. You can make it in something separate, but I don't want to waste any more dishes. So I'm just going to make my mix in this bag. And this is really just it's a freezer bag because it's just a little thicker. So you're going to put 3 tablespoons of this mix. This is the jerk seasoning. And these are heaping tablespoons that I'm using. You don't have to do that. So I'm going to go with 3 tablespoons of the mix. Go with 3 tablespoons of oil. This is olive oil. You can use any type of oil that you like to use. I just like to use this little squirt. It just makes sauteing and using it just a lot easier. Got that. Then I'm going to use 2, maybe 3 tablespoons of this coconut aminos. You can use soy sauce. I prefer the coconut aminos to the soy sauce, but you can use soy sauce. And so you usually would just use 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I'm going to go with 3 of the coconut aminos. And 1 tablespoon of this apple cider vinegar. This still has the mother in it. So I'm just gonna so you can see all those flavors. And then you just mix it together. I'll use the spoon that I have. Now if you just mix it and you want to mix it in a glass container, that's perfectly fine also. Then you can pour it over your chicken. So that's that. It's all mixed. That's what it looks like. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my chicken wings. I didn't separate them. I'm using the whole wing. So I'm just going to put these wings down in here. They've been cleaned. And that's it. I'm just going to seal it up. And these, I'll let these sit in the refrigerator. It'll actually be over 24 hours because it's the evening. now after work, so I prepare for the next day. So this is what I'm preparing for dinner for tomorrow. So that's it. I'm just going to go ahead and mix up this seasoning on all of the chicken wings. And then I'm just going to lay it flat in my refrigerator. And throughout the evening, I'll just go and flip it over. And in the morning before I go to work, I'm just gonna go and flip it over again. And when I get home, I'll decide how I wanna cook it. If I wanna cook it in the air fryer or just, if I just wanna bake it, I'll determine that when I get home. Hope you can hear me. Sorry, I'm rattling this, but that's that. It's that simple. I'll bring you with me and let you see what this chicken looks like tomorrow after it's cooked. This is what this looks like coming out of my refrigerator. Now I'm just going to stick it on my air fryer. Bring you back when I'm done. This is what my jerk chicken looks like out of the air fryer. I'd say it looks pretty good. And I know it's gonna taste delicious. But that's it. It's just that simple. Thank you guys for coming along with me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And please give this video the thumbs up. And for those of you that make jerk seasonings and jerk food, let me know how I did with this, okay? Thanks again.